Sherlock Holmes once told Dr. Watson when investigating a case, everyone sees, but very few perceive. Now, I've paraphrased that just a little bit for our basketball players over the years. I've told them that every player looks at the game, but very few see what is actually taking place. There's a big difference in coming down the floor and looking at the court and coming down the floor and seeing what is actually happening on the floor, knowing what to do, how to anticipate. The difference between looking and seeing is the difference between reacting to what is going to happen or what did happen. And you can't react to what did happen and be very good in basketball. Now, you fans that are watching the game, you've looked at a lot of basketball, but how much of it have you actually seen? In the next 60 minutes, we want to show you how to watch a basketball game. We want you to be able to go to a game knowing what you should be looking for to determine whether or not your favorite team is playing well at the defensive end of the court or just simply giving up easy shots. We want you to be able to see those things that are important for your team to be doing in attacking the zone defense or the press. We want you to understand the game of basketball. After spending the next 60 minutes with us, we want you to be part of those few people known to Sherlock Holmes as having the ability to perceive. Playing in a game and watching a game are a lot alike. If you're going to play well, you've really got to concentrate on the game possession by possession. Reaction is a key to being a good player. And you can react in two ways. You can react to what has happened or what will happen. If you react to what will happen, you've got a chance to be a pretty good player. If you're reacting to what has happened, you're going to be behind most of the time. And that holds true for you as a fan. You've got to concentrate on basketball because it's the quickest moving sport in the world. With 10 people in a confined area, a lot of cutting, screening, interaction, interplay. You have to be able to see what's going to happen rather than nudge your buddy and say, what happened on that play? And that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on enabling you to see what is going to happen, not, hey, what was that happened? Defensive basketball is, in my mind, where the game's at. To understand basketball, you've got to understand what you're looking at when you watch a team playing at the defensive end of the court. Does the offense get good shots, easy attempts to score because they're running a great offense or because they're playing against a poor defense? I usually think that good shots are mostly a result of poor defensive play. When you're watching a basketball game, try to gauge how difficult it is for the offensive team to move the ball against the defensive team. How hard is it for the offense to get the ball into good shooting areas? If it's difficult for the offense to do so, then the defense is doing a pretty good job. If the offense is getting a lot of easy shots, a lot of quick and easy shots, then the defense is not playing very well. We're going to see some excellent examples here of poor defensive pressure, positioning, movement, allowing the offense to get excellent shots. There was a case of a man not seeing both the man and the ball. He lost the man, watching the ball, the offensive man moved, and a layup. There, the defensive man overcommitted himself. The offensive man was able to move the ball back in the other direction for an excellent shot. Here, it will require only 2 passes to get a really good shot. 1, 2, and the open shot coming off the screen. Here we'll get another easy shot. Now, be careful in watching your favorite team. If the other team is getting a lot of good shots, your team may not be doing a good job of paying attention to what it should be seeing and doing defensively. Now the defensive team is going to apply good pressure right from the very beginning, making it tough not only for the offensive team to get a good shot, but to get the ball in position to get a good shot. This is the kind of defensive play that results in winning basketball. Pressure on the shot when it's finally taken, and then good blockout. Now, once again, we're going to look at the difference between the first 4 possessions and these last 2. Defensive pressure all over the court. The ball is always under pressure when it's being passed and caught. And the shot will not even result here because the defense prevents it from happening and then is alert to get the interception. The most important thing to a team playing defense is the pressure exerted at the defensive point of pickup. This is the first thing you should look for in watching a basketball game. Where are the guards going to pick up? If it's a zone defense, the guards will probably pick up a little closer to the top of the key than they will in man-to-man defense. In man-to-man defense, there is sometimes a tendency to overextend the defensive point of pickup. We move the guards too far down the floor. We get them into a position where the offense can penetrate quickly, get past the guards, and put a lot of pressure on the defense at the basket. The zone, however, is looking to contain the offense in a distance 20 to 22 feet away from the basket. There's not as much likelihood that the ball will penetrate against the zone as it will against man-to-man defense. But the thing you're looking for is how well does the initial point of pickup contain the offense, regardless of where that point of pickup is on the court. We start out by showing three-quarter court man-to-man pickup. Notice that the ball is under constant pressure, and the 2 red guards are able to contain it with help there. The offense is now well into its operational area, but it just hasn't been able to get anything started because the initial defensive pickup has been very good. Now we see half-court pickup. Not quite as much pressure. The defense is concentrating on taking away post play, and a very good shot resulted because of the lack of containment. And that shot was obtained in less than 10 seconds. Here's a shot where an excellent shooter gets it on one pass with no point of containment at all. Now we're going to see a zone set up in this possession with very good containment on the perimeter. The zone keeps pressure on the basketball, recovers well, makes it difficult for the offensive team to get the shot, and ends up with the ball. Here we're going to see a drive being made into the lane and another baseline drive here. Both of these accomplished very early in the possession. Now we're going to see early defensive pressure that makes it tough to move the basketball and will result in an offensive turnover. In order to judge how effective defensive pressure is, look for how difficult it is for the offensive man with the basketball to maneuver with the ball. If the offensive man is able to move around the court, going from side to side almost at will, then the defensive pressure on the basketball is not very good. However, if the defense is able to channel the offensive man, say to the outside of the floor, and keep the ball going in that direction, then that's defensive pressure that will be difficult to play against through the entire ball game. We're going to see how pressure on the basketball makes it tough for the offense to get started and makes it that much easier for the defense to be an effective offensive weapon. Here the ball is kept under pressure both on the dribble and the pass, and the offense winds up with an easy opportunity to score as a result of that defensive pressure. Here again, the ball is under pressure when it's being dribbled and actually taken away right off the dribble. In the conversion to offense, The blue team here is going to maintain very good pressure on the ball. Good pressure on the shooter, good pressure on the passer. Here we're going to see that same kind of good pressure exerted by the defense, which results in a very good offensive advantage. Defensive footwork is the key to good defensive play. Players that are committing foul, hand checking, reaching, are playing without good footwork. As you're watching individual defensive play, look at foot positioning. How quickly does a defensive player move? Does he get beat because he has a poor defensive angle? He gives up a route to the basket. His footwork cannot put him in a position to get the job done unless he's really concentrating and conscious of the fact that hand action can only take place after good footwork. Here we're going to see the man on the ball right now and the man on the ball here both take themselves completely out of the play with poor use of the feet. A basket resulted. We're now going to see good pressure on the passing lane through the use of good footwork, making it difficult for the offense to get the ball into a scoring position. Good pressure on the dribbler. The feet are just the most important thing that a defensive player has going for him. You've got to learn to watch what happens with the feet if you want to learn to understand defensive play. Here's good footwork out on the court, a good recovery, pressure on the passer, foot movement to position, good work. Now you're going to see an example of footwork at the floor level. As I said, learn to watch the feet to understand defense. How easily can the ball be moved by passing it? This is another key for determining the strength of defensive play. If the ball can be moved from the guard position to the forward position just simply by picking it up and making the pass, then the defense is not getting much pressure on the basketball. If the defense does not get pressure on the basketball while it's being moved around the perimeter, then chances are the offense is going to be able to get a very good shot. Defensively, we would like to keep the ball on one side of the court, either containing the dribble or containing the pass. If we let the ball come from one side of the floor to the top of the key or the other side of the court, then we're giving the offense a lot of room in which to operate. We're going to see a number of possessions here that show how pressure on the passing lane, the lane from the passer to the receiver, can make it very difficult for the offense to get anything done, and again can result in a lot of good opportunities for the defense converting to offense. We have pressure on the passer and also pressure on the receiver. Here, we take away the post by dropping off the passer and now get back to the passer, pressuring the ball, and the defense coming up with it, offensive basket resulting from that pressure. All right, the initial point of pickup has pretty good pressure on the ball. The defensive team continues to maintain pressure on the passer, and that time, however, the defense on the receiver dropped off and an excellent shot resulted. Here, we're back with good ball pressure, good pressure on the receiver, and the score and the conversion. The ball is picked up a little bit further down the floor in this possession, but pressure is maintained on the basketball and pretty good pressure on the passer, both the passer and the receiver. Every basketball team likes to take the ball inside. They like to get the ball from somewhere on the perimeter into a postman. How easily the offense accomplishes this is another thing to watch in determining how effective defensive play is in any given game that you happen to be watching. First of all, if the offensive team can bring the ball down the floor and make a direct single pass into the postman, then there's not a lot of difficulty in getting the ball into the highest area possible for scoring opportunities. If, however, the offensive team must move the ball from position to position around the perimeter while the postman is also moving from one spot to another inside, then you are watching a defensive team that's making it difficult for the offense. In our first few possessions here, we're going to see quick and easy shots as a result of passes into the post. The defensive player is not maintaining or establishing good post position. It's got to be tough to get the ball into the post if you're going to prevent inside scores. In these possessions, the offensive team is able to move the ball with 3 or 4 passes on the perimeter and then take advantage of a postman who steps in front of his defensive man, as was the case there. Here we're again going to see a postman move well, although the defensive man fought the post pretty hard there. Here the ball is moved on the perimeter. There was a postman open. Now he spins, and the defensive man gets caught, although there is good help behind. Good post position and a good move to the basket. Now we're going to take a look at some good defensive play in the post. There's great anticipation of the pass to the post, and it results in an offensive score, or the good attempt at an offensive score in conversion. There the defensive postman does a good job fighting the post, taking away the cut. Same thing there. Again, he takes away the cut, and he's very alert, and the pass is thrown away. The cut is taken away. The defensive man is very much alert in the lane to the cutter coming across the key toward the ball. You can notice how the post is having a tough time getting to the basketball in this sequence. And this is the absolute essence of good post play. The defense knew where the ball was, and the offense just wasn't able to get it inside. Here again, the defensive man taking away the cut results in a foul, which is just the same as a turnover. What is the difference when you're watching a basketball game in man-to-man defense or zone defense? There are 2 basic differences. First of all, the zone defense that I have here on the board has 5 players positioned, in this case in a 2-3 alignment, hence a 2-3 zone. These players are responsible for areas of the court, not particular individuals, except when a player is in that specific area. A zone defense is set up to guard the perimeter away from the basket of about 20 to 22 feet. The man-to-man defense goes further out on the floor, and the responsibility is placed on individuals rather than on areas of the floor. We're going to see zone pickup here, and you get a chance to look at people guarding areas of the floor. Now, as we said, the basic idea of the zone is to keep the ball from going inside, but the offense does have an opportunity, because of the area coverage of the zone, to bring 2 people to the basketball and then free somebody else for the shot. The zone here does a very good job of being active and preventing the ball from going inside. Now we'll see an example of a combination of defensive play. Pick up full court man-to-man and then dropping back into a zone. Now, one thing that you want to do here is see if it's possible to get the shot while the defense is still making the adjustment from its full court pickup to its half court set in the zone. Now again, the defense is set up to cover areas, not necessarily men. And in covering areas, an open shot results. More than any other phase of basketball, defense is a five-man proposition. All five players have got to be attuned to the basketball, where it is, and what's being done with the ball for the defense to be effective. If you see an offensive player who's able to beat the man guarding him and get all the way to the bucket, then you're watching a defense that isn't going to be very tough to play against. If, however, the offensive man beats the man guarding him and is immediately confronted with another defensive man, then you're watching a defense that is really attuned to what's happening in the game. In a practice situation, we start with good pressure on the basketball, and this has to be maintained, and we've got to react to the ball as both number 30 and number 20 did there, resulting in a steal if we're going to play well defensively. Here, we get good defensive help on the pass into the post, and it results in a shot under pressure, and again, a good opportunity to score in conversion. In a practice situation, we again show a combination of things with pressure on the ball, some pressure on the passing lane, and good help and alertness, again resulting in that good chance to score. Here we have an example of very poor defensive help. Ball is reversed, not a lot of pressure on the basketball. Defense is a combination of so many things, and pressure and help are just two of them, and there we don't really get the exact kind of help that we want. Now we see a score result because the defense has not rotated back to cover the pass. Here we have very poor help coming in on the pass to the postman, and another score result. Good switch, but the recovery after helping was poor. A score against penetration and nobody rotating back to pay attention to the basketball. Have good help on the post and the guard, and we continue to have good help to the point where we're going to draw the charging foul right there, which becomes an offensive turnover. And the same thing will happen here. Good defensive help. Man sliding into the path of the driver and drawing the charge. And now we're going to see good defensive help, moving to the ball, resulting in the steal, and again an opportunity for the defense to score. The last thing you're looking for defensively is what happens when the shot is taken. Don't watch the flight of the ball. We tell our shooters, don't look at the ball, look at the basket. We got to tell you fans, don't watch the shot, look at the defensive rebounder. The shot's been taken under pressure. A lot of pressure on the dribblers, the passers, then the shooter. Only an offensive player gets to the board and tips the ball in. Everything else we've done hasn't been of much value to us because of this basket. If, however, the defensive people can get into a position between the offensive players and the rebound, we're going to be able to get the ball defensively headed toward our end of the basket. Don't watch the shot, watch the defensive rebound. We start out by showing full court defense to put a little bit of everything into what has to end up in the defensive team being able to get the basketball because of good blockout. Here we had good pressure on passing lane, good pressure on the ball being dribbled and moved. Now the most important thing of all is going to be what happens when the shot is taken. Is the red team able to keep the white team off the board? And it does here with very good position and an excellent outlet pass for a score. Now again, we can have everything that is involved in good defensive play, but if somebody gets inside, as is the case there, all of the defensive pressure on the ball, the passing lanes, and everything else goes down the drain because of the second shot, resulting in an easy attempt for the offense to score. Now, there was a poor blockout situation, followed up with poor defensive inside help. The poor blockout situation results in the offensive team getting an opportunity to score that it just shouldn't have, and eventually takes advantage of it and does so. Now, we're going to show here where the defensive team again doesn't block out, and the offensive postman gets on the board for the score. There's an excellent block out. The white shirts were all inside of the red. Good movement down the court, and now into offensive play. Good help inside. Good shot is taken. The defense is lax in the kind of shot that it gives the offense, and then follows that up by very poor setup on the blockout. Too many mistakes, and particularly the one at the end, when the shot is missed and put back up by the offensive team, make it very difficult to win. As you're watching any game, just see how many second and third efforts result for the offensive team over the course of the ball game. And chances are the team having the most of them is going to be the team in the best position to win at the end of the ball game. Excellent defensive blockout leads to a lot of good opportunities offensively. It's always interesting in watching a basketball game to see what happens after a timeout. Does the team on defense change its defense? Does the other team change its defense when it gives up the basketball? Look for a team that is changing defenses, going from man